Hi! So today I want to talk about the block on your bingo card that says get 8 hours of sleep. For some of you, this may not be an issue and you'll be able to check it off right away. For some, it could be a real problem. For me, sleeping 8 hours is pretty regular. I usually get probably close to 9 most nights, which is really good. There's a lot of benefits to getting a good night's sleep. It's when your body's healing, your brain's clearing itself out, your gut is going through, doing what it needs to heal and process, and your immune system is kind of being bolstered during that time. Is good for your mood. I mean, there's so many benefits to a good night's sleep that you really need to get yourself a routine that works and helps you get a good night's sleep consistently. So not just one night to check a box, but try to make this a routine that happens most nights of the week for you. So a few things that I like to do to help with my sleep is kind of the shutting down and the relaxed time prior to actually going to bed. So if you are one who is constantly scrolling your phone, doing work, eating really late before bed, all of these things can disrupt your circadian rhythm and your ability to fall asleep quickly. If you are constantly under stress and your mind can't shut down, again, this is going to stop you from being able to go to sleep. Most of us, the going to sleep part is where we can play with the timing, not so much the getting up. Because most people, you have a set time in the morning or a dead cutoff. You have to be up by this time to get your day started, to do whatever it is, go to work, take care of the kids, whatever it is you need to do. But that going to bed time is where you can play and try to find those 8 hours, at least minimum of 8 hours. And for some people, a little less than 8, you might still wake up fully rested and feel great. For me, going closer towards 9 hours makes me feel really good. But it's even more than that. It's kind of the timing and the way I wake up, which I'll talk about that in a second. So if you are always, again, if you're watching TV, if you're looking at a computer screen, an iPad, or a phone of something, some kind of screen before bed, that disrupts your circadian rhythms. The blue light, I'm sure you've heard about blue blocker glasses and stuff like that. The blue light is the problem. So even having bright lights, like all the lights on in the house. I always yell about everybody turning all the lights on in the house. I am one that I turn off every light unless it's really dark and I need something, but otherwise I want all the lights off. One, I don't want to waste the energy, but two, especially at night, I want that dark. I want to feel it's time to go to bed. It's not time to be awake and active. So dimming the lights as much as you can, cutting off the sitting down with a screen, TV screen, phone, whatever, cutting all of that stuff off and finding something that helps you relax. Yes, there are supplements out there, melatonin and stuff like that you can take that can be helpful, but it's not necessarily something that you want to require all of the time. Maybe that's something that when, you're really stressed out and things have just kind of not been going well that day, maybe you have something like a melatonin to help you fall asleep that night. But on a regular basis, if you're following a routine for yourself and you get yourself in this kind of sleep-wake routine, it's going to make it long-term much better for you, and you're not going to require supplements and assistance. So cutting the lights as much as possible, getting rid of the screens and the electronics before bed, not eating too late. And now I know, if you have your macros, you're trying to follow your plan and hit your macros, but the closer to bedtime you eat, it's harder to go to sleep because your stomach is still trying to digest food. So you want to give your body time to digest the food that you've eaten so that it can be relaxed and, kind of the blood flow and everything can go other places and the body can do its repair and restoration and cleansing and all of those things, not be focused on digesting what's in your stomach. So you want to try to eat early, cut the light, find your routine. So, getting into your pajamas, brushing your teeth, laying down in bed, something that calms you and relaxes you. Maybe it's a meditation, maybe you meditate, or you do some kind of quiet breathing or something right before. For me, I have kind of two really big things that help. One, I'm just going to show you. I have my book. I love to read. I am currently reading the third book in the Shadow and Bone series, if you've heard of that. But more importantly than reading the book, reading I find very relaxing. Now, sometimes I will be falling asleep 2 pages in. Sometimes I could read half the book and not feel sleepy, but it has relaxed me to the point that it's easy to fall asleep. So you don't want to get something that's going to get you all like excited and wound up. But the more important thing is the light. This is just a book light I got from Amazon. You can easily find them, but you might notice it's an orangey yellowy color because it is a blue light, or it's not a blue light. I don't remember what they call it, but it's not a blue light. It's not a blue light blocker because it's not blocking blue light, but it's not creating that blue light when I read. So unfortunately, sometimes if I don't have a physical book to read, I will use my Kindle, which has a light, but I have it at the lowest setting possible. So it's not ideal, but it's still giving me that kind of reading and falling asleep. I actually used to fall asleep reading a Kindle all the time. So again, that kind of, for me, I think of it's relaxing. I really enjoy reading. And it's the one time during the day where I can sit and read something without interruptions. Most of the time, my daughter's laying in the bed reading her book as well with her same little book light. But we will, it's quiet. We're not talking to each other. I'm not having to worry about anybody. The only problem is when my cat comes and gets in front of the book wanting some love. But otherwise, it's very relaxing. It helps me kind of shut down, settle in, get comfortable. So I have my book, I read. So I've already brushed my teeth. I've put on my pajamas. I've cooled the room down as much as possible, because that's another thing. If your room is really hot, or it's really hot once you climb into bed, it's very hard to sleep. So you want coolness in the room. Fan going, AC on, blankets that are cooling, whatever you need to keep your body from getting too hot while you are trying to sleep and sleeping. It'll make you feel much better. I have my book, I read my book, and then the other thing for me at night is, there's two things. One, with your phone. If you're going to use your phone, go into your settings. And of course, iPhone, I assume Samsungs and all those probably do the same thing, or Androids probably do the same thing. Go into your phone, into your settings, into the display and brightness. And you have the option, there's light and dark here, you can see. You could pick it to always be light or always be dark. I have mine set to automatic. So it's like mimicking sunrise and sunset. So when the sun's up, it's on the light version. When the sun sets, it's on the dark version. So just to show you, when it's on the dark version, the screen is darker. It's much more subdued lighting. It's not going to, it's not as bright if I need to look at my phone for any reason while I am trying to settle down and go to bed. Now, the other thing on the phone, which is the only reason really I keep the phone near me in bed, is that I use this app. So it's called the Calm app. I have probably talked about it before. Calm right there. I love this app for 2 reasons. Actually, 3 reasons. It's playing sounds right now, so let me turn that off for a second. One, it has like background noise. So I really like the sound of rain or the ocean. So I keep it on the rain on leaves. So it sounds like raindrops falling on leaves. And it's just a nice kind of not overpowering sound that's just kind of background without it being like a white noise machine. So it's kind of that same concept, and there's lots of options noise-wise. And then it has meditations, so I like to use it for my guided meditations. Normally I do those in the morning, but I have used them at night. There are sleep-specific meditations in there, so those are always great to use. But then the third thing, and which my kids actually love as well, is it has sleep stories. So just think about, when you were young, or your kids now, they like you to read to them. It's nice to have somebody reading to you. And the stories are usually something that it's not necessarily like a story I would want to go read myself, but it's a nice story. Again, it kind of helps shut down the thought pattern and the craziness and just lets me relax. Now, when everything's going well, I probably hear a minute or so of that sleep story and I am out cold. But I use that as well if I have trouble. If I have trouble falling asleep, if I wake up and can't go back to sleep, I'll put on a sleep story. And 9 times out of 10, that sleep story will put me right back to sleep, where if I didn't put it on, I'm going to lay there and think about to-do lists or ruminate about something that happened or whatever. And I don't need that in my brain when I'm trying to sleep. So the sleep story for me is kind of that distraction, pulls me away, gets me out of my own head, and lets the body relax and go back to sleep. Now, yes, the app is not free. There are certainly free things you could get. I'm sure they're on YouTube. You could probably find sleep stories on YouTube that are free. You might have to listen to ads here and there. But for me, it's a really good app. I've been using it for a couple of years now, I think. And it has helped a lot sleep-wise. So that's all the kind of getting to sleep. And, it's important to try to get to sleep early enough that you have plenty of time to get 8 hours in. Now, staying asleep, again, you don't want to drink a bunch of water, eat a bunch of food right before you go to bed. If you drink water or anything you're drinking right before bed, guess what? You're going to have to wake up and go to the bathroom. And then you have to start that fall back to sleep process. Several things you should think about if you do wake up to help you, again, get right back to sleep and not get in this awake for an hour loop thing. Don't pick up your phone and look at it. Maybe, like me, my phone's the only clock I have available. I don't have an actual clock in my room. So I try not to look at it. I don't want to know what time it is, because if I know what time it is, I start worrying about how long is it going to take me to fall asleep? Is there enough time for me to fall asleep and sleep good before I have to be up? Like, I don't need to have to think about those things. So I don't look at my phone. I try really hard not to look at my phone unless I'm putting on another sleep story to help me. But 2, I don't need that light in my face. I keep my room dark. There are no lights. There's no night lights. There's no nothing in there. And you need that darkness to help you sleep and stay asleep. So you don't want to fall asleep to a TV playing. You don't really, you kind of want to keep the whole, like, the TV and the working on your computer and all those things. You want to try to keep that out of the bedroom and keep the bedroom and the bed for sleep. Because then your body knows, I'm going to bed. That means I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to bed so I can lay and watch TV. A lot of us have TVs in our room. We lay in bed to watch TV sometimes, whenever. But it's not a habit you want to get into all the time, especially because it kind of gives that mixed signal to your brain. We're getting in bed. Are we watching TV? Are we going to bed? What are we doing in here? And I know we do other things in our bed, but we're not going to talk about that. So those are some of the things just to think about of kind of getting to sleep, staying asleep through the night, keeping it dark, trying not to look at your phone. Don't get into a scroll on social media with your phone because you're awake. And then when you do get up, it is super important to get some sunlight exposure, some bright light exposure. Now, every day is not going to be a sunny day, but the sun is up. Even on a cloudy day, it's brighter out. So you want to get that brightness, opening up the blinds or the curtains in your room, going out into a room where there is bright light, the sunlight preferably, to help kind of set that circadian rhythm. So once when you do these things consistently, you get your circadian rhythm set and it becomes easier and easier. And this is just the pattern that your body gets in. And again, it's better for your brain. It's better for your moods, for your health overall, for your hormones, because poor sleep can disrupt your hormones. There's just all kinds of things that are better when you get a good night's sleep consistently. So even though the box only says, one night of sleeping 8 hours, I want you to work on doing that from here on out. So once you get your routine set and you start, work from here on out to try to get those 8 hours of sleep. Now, getting the sunlight, especially in the morning, again with the circadian rhythms, part of that, the sunlight helps kind of generate or helps your body to create serotonin, which in turn, the serotonin helps the body to create melatonin, which helps you to sleep at night. So rather than have to take supplements all the time, get yourself exposed to sunlight in the morning, like even if it's like 10, 15 minutes that you could actually get out, have sunlight, it's good vitamin D for your skin, but also the exposure for the eyes of the sunlight help hormonally. It helps their circadian rhythms. It helps everything get going for the day. Gives you energy. It kind of awakens you and you're ready to go because it's sunny. Now, I know some people might have to get up before the sun rises, and I am so sorry for you that you have to do that, but get some kind of light exposure. So turn on some lights. If you could get something that kind of mimics sunlight, lamp-wise that mimics sunlight, do that. I know because I had it. I had an alarm clock before we had smartphones that I could plug there was a plug that my lamp plugged into, and my alarm clock, as part of the wake up, was to slowly turn my lamp on so that it was like a sunrise in my room. And it made a huge difference on the getting up and not hitting snooze, because that light slowly brightening in my room, just like the light exposure from the sun coming up, the light brightening up in the room, it starts to naturally wake your body up, starts to naturally wake the brain up and get things flowing. And then all of a sudden the alarm went off. I'm up, I feel awake because there's a bright light in my room now. I'm good to go. I'm not needing to sleep longer. So those are my tips for you. I know this might be a long video to talk about sleep, but sleep is so important. I mean, really, the 3 things in life that you should focus on is your good quality sleep, good quality nutrition, and moving your body every day. Those are 3 really important things. And then if I added a 4th, it would be your mindset, which your mindset kind of ties in with some of that too. But get your good sleep, eat well, move your body every day, and life is going to be so much better for you. If you have any questions, if you want to more details about anything that I have or that I've used, feel free to reach out, to comment below. When you check off your 8 hours of sleep box, which I hope everybody in this challenge group checks it off at some point this month, let us know what you did to make the change. If you're already sleeping 8 hours, that's great. Give us your tips. Let us know what you're doing and what works for you. Because again, the more we share, somebody is going to connect with what we're doing and it's going to help them. And that is the goal of this group. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.